Hey guys, it's Pyro Penny and my dog assistant Tilly. We was gonna have a chat today about mental health in circus, arts and performing, because I think mental health in general is something that needs to be discussed more. So this is a little bit scary for me because I'm actually being completely honest about what is my Achilles heel. I have really I say I have really bad social anxiety. I do. I do have social anxiety. I find large groups of people, any sort of social group, network, organisation, whatever, very difficult to deal with. And as you can imagine, this sort of makes performing quite challenging. So I thought I'd do a little video about how it affects me and how I've sort of learnt to cope with it. And also I wanted to talk about how circus arts has had a positive effect on my mental health, my emotional health and my physical health, because ultimately that's the message I sort of want to get out to people is Flo-Arts, fires, don't walk in dancing, whatever it is your thing that you're doing, it can really help you. So social anxiety then, I said I find groups of people difficult to deal with. So imagine a situation like a really good gig where people say, oh yeah, the crowd was really good, the atmosphere was buzzing, or there's a midnight showing at a cinema that, like Star Wars, and it's packed out. Those sorts of situations are my worst nightmare, like lots of people in a confined space. How that affects my performing quite a bit. First of all, public transport. I don't drive yet. I'm on the cusp. I just need to pass my practical test and I'm good to go. But public transport, crowded buses, crowded trains. There was actually one time I was on a gig to London, graphic story. I was on my way to a gig in London. I was on the tube. It was packed as it normally is. And I had to get off 2 stops early, like just out of the way. And I was spectacularly sick all over the platform. It was great. It was blue because I was drinking a blue energy drink. So yeah, blue vomit all over the station platform. And the staff guy, bless him, was like, "You're all right, love?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm from Norwich. I'm not used to all the people." And he was like, "Yeah, all right, if you're sure." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good, thanks." And I got back on the train and off I went to carry on and go to my gig. But yeah, it was sort of, I was like, it's so tightly packed, I'm breathing in everybody's air, this is really horrible. And yeah, and I have had in the past like panic attacks, being out on the high street and just sort of looking around, realising how many people there are and going, ah, freaking out. It's happened in a shop and had to have an ambulance guy on a bike come and give me oxygen. That was scary. Pins and needles like all in my entire body. I was like, am I having a stroke? It's just a panic attack. It is disabling, unabling. It's frightening. It's real. I don't get them that bad anymore. When I'm off to go do performing, if it's performing, I do get like stomach cramps. I do just sort of have to, when I get there, sort of stretch out and just really breathing exercises, water and chill, and I'm pretty much good to go. I don't get any of that when I've done teaching. I'm just excited. I like showing people stuff, not because I'm like, look at how clever I am. I'm like, what do you know? What are your challenges? What do you want to do? Let's work with that. And that I find is a nice challenge, and it's really rewarding when you see somebody pick it up and like go, hey, I'm doing it, and you're like, yeah. So I'd rather be doing the applause for someone else doing the thing than receiving applause myself, if that makes sense. After I've done a thing, I'm just kind of like, oh, thank goodness, everything went okay, hopefully. I get to go home now, yay. And off I skip. I don't like the attention. I don't stick around for the, oh, you've done really well afterwards, because I find the small talk and sort of receiving all that praise and attention, I just, cheers by the way, I can't, yeah. Not for me, thanks. Sort of like the Phantom of the Opera of Batman, just sort of, and off into the night I go. So yeah, that's directly how it affects getting to places. When I'm actually at a place, I've learned to sort of cope with crowds now, either because I'll be up on a stage, so I'll be up on a platform away from everybody, or I'll have at least like a marker, a wide distance from me in the crowd, so I'm not in amongst people, I'm sort of on the outside. And when people are looking at me on stage, I don't really think they're looking at me like, oh, look at her. They're like, look at what she's doing. That's what I want people to have a look at. That's probably why I won't be going into stripping off burlesque, because I don't want people to be looking at my body and thinking, oh, she's pretty. I just want people to, I would like people to go, wow, look at that, how did she do that? That's sort of the reaction, or ugh, or like laughing. That's what I'd like to get out of people, because I don't take myself seriously. And also when I have to work in amongst a crowd doing walkabout, with things like stilt walking, again, I'm sort of 2 feet above everybody else. People tend to sort of spread out and give me a bit more room as I'm coming through, which is fine. I can get in for photos, so that's all good. And again, I don't feel like people are looking at me when I'm on stilts, so sort of looking at my costume as a whole. So that's how I get through that. And also, I mean, growing up, I was always the new kid. I went to 4 or 5 different schools, always the outsider. Anyway, and if that wasn't bad enough, I had a weird accent. I've still got horrible teeth, weird teeth. People used to call me rat face. I used to wear whatever the hell I wanted, which was baggy skater, goth alternative clothes, and people would take the mick out of that, and I just didn't care, just got on with it. And I always kind of anticipate that a group of people or a crowd are going to look at me and just find some reason to not like me. But I'm choosing what they're looking at. I'm giving them something to look at. I'm not just like, oh, look at you with your thing. I'm like, no, look at this. This is what we're doing. And so I'm giving them all smoke and mirrors. I'm not really giving them me. Although chunks of aspects of me come through in my acts. The fact that I do feel like to be scary or a bit creepy, or, you know, I'm a stompy chick, not a like, ooh, sexy chick. So I'm choosing what they're looking at. I'd say having really low self-esteem, or not feeling great about yourself makes it very difficult to promote yourself, because you have to constantly say to people, hey, look at me, I'm amazing, I'm wow, I can do this and this and this. And sometimes you really don't feel like that, so it's hard to sort of keep it consistent and sort of, yeah. It also makes it very hard to apply for castings as well, because you think, oh, I'm not good enough for that, when actually you've probably got acts and skills that are. And yeah, it also makes it very difficult to deal with rejection as well. If you think, god damn, I thought I was in there, why didn't they hire me? Grr. You can't get hung up on any of that kind of stuff. And also you have to be able to take criticism. You have to be able to handle somebody saying, no, that doesn't work, or it's not your best, or, you know, oh yeah, I reckon I could do that. You have to be able to handle people not being very nice, which happens sadly a lot. There's also the inner politics of things like burlesque, circus, performing in general. The circuit of people who all do different gigs. Some of them are really lovely to work with, and I'm very lucky. I've got Twisted Bliss and Foolhardy Circus that I like working with, and they're an amazing bunch of people, and they're professionals, they know what they're doing. But then you also have people that are willing to perform for free, people that are willing to perform without any insurance, people that are really competitive, people that are really ego driven. And it's very hard to work with personalities like that. So I tend to keep my social circle very small, very tight. People that are local, people that I know personally, people that I've worked with personally. And I don't believe in arse kissing either. So I think that puts me out of the running for a lot of things. I won't buy into a set of workshops just so I can get some stage time at the end, or be accepted into that particular social clique who's running the workshops. Go to a professional, sure, to get workshop tips and things like that, but there is so much to be said for people that are self-taught, people that have maybe a dance background and have picked up a toy and are incorporating that together, people that have circus or performing in the family. A lot of this is tradition and skills are passed down, you know, sort of dancing genes and that. My kids have got it, I've seen them move. And yeah, you know, get competent, you know, prove that you are safe, that you know what you're doing, be professional, and, you know, yeah, just be nice, really. So this is all how having social anxiety makes it difficult for me to perform, makes it difficult for me to get involved, makes it hard for me to go out, but I kind of treat it like exposure therapy. In my normal day-to-day life, I tend to shun people. I don't see a lot of my friends. I don't speak to a lot of people or go to social groups or anything, or a pub regularly or a night out regularly or anything like that. I'm terrible. So when I go do performing, I'll kind of like, oh, right, now there's people. And I can handle that, but on a day-to-day, like working in a really busy shop where you're serving like 50 people or more a day, like I just, mentally, I don't think I can cope. I am a hermit. But you do have to branch out to people. For people that do have social anxiety, you do have to watch that you're not insular, because you have to look to other people to learn stuff, to gain skills, to network, to see who knows who and what's going on, and see how you can help each other out. So you can't let it stop you. You do need to work with other people sometimes. So yeah, those are my little tips on how I've sort of managed to cope, I guess. One being that I'm choosing what people look at for once, and it's not really yourself they're looking at, it's the costume, it's the character, it's what you're doing. So I do want to talk more about circus and doing Flo-Arts and mental health. That's sort of what my message and my main goal is, I guess, is to sort of reach out to people and say, hey, did you realise doing this means you're mentally occupied, you're emotionally expressing yourself and venting, you're physically getting fit, and because you're doing regular exercise or practicing and whatnot, it has a knock-on effect on your appetite. You'll be, I'm starving when I come back in after having a spinning session, particularly a burn. I'll have 2 dinners in one night. It will also affect your sleep. You will be physically knackered, or can do something that will physically, mentally tire you out. And sort of take better care of yourself, because you'll be forced to go have a wash after you've been sweating it out. So when you're in that depressive rut and you're not looking after yourself properly, just you can focus on, instead of all these negative thoughts, look up YouTube tutorials, look up anything to do with your performing prop or performing in general. It can keep you focused, and it gives you something to talk about positively with people as well, so it's a good talking point. Anyway, I feel like that's enough of a ramble about how having social anxiety or anxiety depression sort of affects performing and things. It makes a difficult job even more harder to do. Hats off to everybody that gets out there and just tries. So yeah, if you've got any questions, any comments, anything at all you wanted to add or to share concerning mental health and performing, just add it below on the video. It'd be great to get this ball rolling, and let's talk about this, because mental health is important and circus is important, and the two of them together can really do you some good. So thanks for watching. See you next time.